Alrighty, welcome to Supernatural Signals, my haunted journal edition. If you're new here, this is where I just yap about anything that's on my mind, usually related to supernatural. Today, not so much supernatural, just more personal updates. I'll probably make it quick and then maybe some true crime updates as well. But normally, what these are like any weird things I see at in a supernatural way, and then just yapping about the supernatural in general. And then I also have two other forms of content where I do mini shorts, which you can find on my mini tab. They're called mini mysteries. And then I do like investigative video series that you can find on my main page, as well as these type of videos. So that's what I do on the channel if you are new here. Um, I mentioned earlier about a resolution that I made, and I kind of kept it private, but it basically is it's like a teaching job that is kind of niche, and I really liked it, and I was going to give it up for a little bit because the working conditions weren't good, and they haven't been good for a very long time. Um, and yeah, I like doing it. But it's really not my main job, right? Like I'm like that's not it's like a side thing, right? That's not what I'm, you know, that's not I can take it or leave it, right? And I was doing it for cuz I liked it, and I was doing it because I thought it was helpful. But like every time I did it, it's just I got treated like crap by the institution, let's put it that way. And by the people taking the class, right? So it's like not good working environment, let's put it that way. And it's not a mentally good environment because I can't really do much because I'm putting all my time in there when I do it. So I don't really have time to do anything fun and be a human. And I started it like 3 years ago, and it's not getting better. I used to do for my normal job a contracting job, and they kept saying, "Oh, we're going to sign you on. We're going to sign you on. We're going to sign you on." They never signed me on, right? And that's kind of how I feel like with this, where it's just like you're not even giving me the good environment. You're not even caring about my mental health. And the funny thing is they always say like, "Oh, you're so vital to us." We're like, because I'm kind of like what I'm teaching is kind of niche. Like my career is kind of niche. It's boring as f. So I'm not going to go into it, and it's private. But like so we need you and blah blah blah. And I'm like, do you though? Do you really though? Right? And I'm not asking for much. That's the sad part. I'm really not asking for much. And I gave up a lot for the job, my time, my money, a lot. Right? And so it's not fun. It's not fun. And I either need to focus on like just my normal job, or, you know, and then also, again, I have my spiritual side that I want to work on and continue. So I told the people I was going to take like a break from it. And now I'm just not doing it anymore because it's not fun. And I guess I'm documenting it so I can look back at it and see how I feel like a year from now or whatever the case may be. But it's just like if no one defends you like in the institution, then no one is ever going to defend you right by now, right? It's been 3 years. So my boyfriend's kind of in the same area. He does something way different for work, but then he also has ties to the institution, and I love him to death. But one thing I wish he would do is defend me more in that area, um, because, like I said, not a lot of people can do what I do, and that's not bragging. It's just the truth. And either act like that towards me or don't ask me for my services anymore, right? So anyway, um, and I think that should be for anybody, right? If you're so coveted, if you're treated, if people should stick up for yourselves, right? No one can tell me I'm not a hard worker. No one can tell me I'm not a team player. No one can tell me I'm not a good person. No one. Like I will laugh in your face, right? Like no one can tell me that. But after a while, it's like I'm not going to keep sacrificing. You should be giving me resources, right? Not the other way around. I shouldn't be giving my resources up, right? Just to prove like it's like what am and the sad thing is it's like maybe like one or two people out of the people I teach actually get it and do something with it, right? And not just cheat or depend on someone else to do it or fly by or take the same freaking class over and over again. Like it doesn't do anything, right? It's like, again, it's a circle. So the only thing I can do with the circle is just stop. And I'm kind of sad. I'm actually really sad because, like I said, I've given up a lot in the last 3 years, and this is something else I'm giving up. So, but it's like nothing's going to change, right? Nothing's going to change, and my boundaries don't get respected. And so, the only thing I can think of is that even though the teaching aspect I enjoyed, right, and sharing certain things and like, you know, doing that I enjoyed, like I don't enjoy the company, right? I don't enjoy hitting my head against the wall. I don't enjoy like feeling like I have to prove myself to other people that teach, right? Like I don't, it's enough, right? So either you like my services enough to like give me a proper place to do what I'm supposed to do or F off, right? Like, because it's just, you're not going to take the one thing that I actually enjoy and ruin it, right? Maybe I'll come back in a different environment and bring it back. But until then, there's like in a different institution, I don't know. But until then, they don't deserve it, right? Like, anyway, so that's gone. And I'm actually very relieved because, like I said, I can't change a lot of things in my life right now, but that's the one thing I can be like, I'm taking away that stress, right? Because I don't have to worry about what people think of it, or what they don't think of it, analyzing my lessons, analyzing, my relationships that are colleagues. Like I don't have to deal with that anymore, right? And so, and then therefore I can learn more, right? And I don't have to share it with everybody. So anyway, so that's a big update for me. It's probably not an update for anyone, but if anyone's in that type of profession where it feels thankless, you are not alone. Um, yeah, but like I said, I worked a lot of shitty jobs in my life, a lot, like to the point where the snowstorm, they would have fired me if I didn't go to work. Well, I know a lot of people have time off, which is great. I think they should have time off. I had to plow through the ice storm, right, to get to my crappy job that paid me barely enough for rent, right? Like, I you know what I mean? This is probably the most thankless job I've had. This is this is the most thankless job I've had. And then, like I said, I worked many shitty jobs. So anyway, and it's at the point now where it could be like the smallest thing. Like it could be like, oh, we ran out of pencils. Well, fuck you, I'm out of here. That's the point where it's at, right? Where it would be like 3 years ago, be like, I'll buy all the pencils for the whole institution. No, no, no. Um, anyway, and like I said, I love Kermit to death, and this is really not about him, but he really should, you know, he wants to marry me. Let's put it that way. And it's like, okay, well, and he says, oh, I want to take care of you. Well, then do it. Start by that. Like, I don't, like, I'm not going to keep waiting around, right? Sorry, that was probably TMI, but that's where I'm at. It's probably so weird for people that, whatever. And the worst part is, like I said, in other videos, I work with Kermie, and like I said, we have, I guess, multiple jobs, but this is like kind of like a passion project, I guess, quote unquote. And Kermie gets the credit for it because he's, you know, I'm more behind the scenes person, right? And so I don't get credit for anything I've done, right? And I feel like I've done a lot. um, and yeah, and then I feel like I have higher expectations than Kermie. I don't know, and it's kind of a sexist institution if you ask me. So, um, so he gets the love because he anything that good happens, he gets to showcase it, and then I'm the one that's doing all the work. And then if something goes bad, then it feels like, oh well, it's her fault. But yeah. Anyway, so I actually feel relieved with it because I don't need to teach things that don't want to be taught, right? You know, and be ungrateful for it. So, and again, this is not like a one type thing. This is like just a summation of everything, right? And it's just is done. Like I can't teach people that are like fighting me. Like I can't, or not making me let me feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like if you come into a classroom and you're trying to teach and they're throwing things at you while you're teaching, you're going to leave. Like, like you can't progress that way. Like it's glass ceiling effect, right? Anyway, so at least I can take that off my table, and not saying I don't have other things to deal with besides that, but at least I don't have to feel like that's on my burden, because right now I'm just putting it on myself and I don't need to do that, right? And the best part is like I know I can do it because, like I said, I'm usually someone that like folds. I don't know, because I like to do it, right? I like to yap. That's why I have this. So that makes me feel better. But my my intention is to now kind of get just focus more on the supernatural and that aspect, and not drone on about me and Kermie's life. But it worked fine. I'm just saying, like, I, I don't know. I just, sometimes I feel very voiceless because, like I said, of who he is. So this is my voice. But and that's not his fault. But at the same time, I do feel like he likes to please people a lot, and he wants everyone to succeed. He has a big teaching heart in that, but it's also like I should be a priority and I shouldn't be afraid, because I've never really been a priority to anyone or felt like one. And it's like, if you want to marry me, then I am a priority, right? So, um, anyway, um, yeah. So, and like I said, our relationship did not start off normally. So, um, and like I said, and then people will always say, well, wait, 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 it's going to get better. Like, we're just in this, that's what the institution will say, like, oh, you're in teaching, all that stuff. Well, then you can wait on me, right? And then maybe I'll come back to your institution, right? Wait on me. If you love delaying things, if you love holding things up, if you're good at that, if you love being annoying in that sense, just with the red tape and all that, well, then I'll wait on me. Wait on me then. And like I said, I gave up TikTok and I was addicted to that, so I can certainly do this. So anyway, moving on. So there has been an update with Neo Langston, who not Leo Langston, but with the Celeste case. She Celeste Hernandez, she was a 14-year-old girl that was murdered, most likely, by the singer David. He started off on TikTok, of course, and just not a good guy. And a friend and a key witness was arrested in the case. So right now, from my understanding, is they're gonna see about indicting him. I think in February they're gonna take it to the courts. And a friend and a key witness, Neil Langston, who is a social media streamer and associate of David, was arrested in Montana for failing to appear before a Los Angeles grand jury as a witness for the homicide investigation. So I think what they do is they do the pre interviews and then they put everyone in front of the grand jury. And I think he missed the interviews. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I'm assuming is happening. Um, and then a private investigator has suggested that the arrest of Langston might lead to prosecutors to offer David a cooperation deal to get to the bottom of evidence or testimony linked to the case. So that just sounds like jargon trying to, like, maybe a cop out for Neo to, like, be like, oh no, you're just trying to help him out with a deal there, buddy. Like, give me your information. And then even if Neo believes him or not, he could be like, well, that's what I just thought it was. Like, and then not seem like a snitch, but who knows? So investigators are still treating Celeste's death as a murder investigation after remains were found inside the front of his Tesla, which again was registered to David in September of 2025. He hasn't been formally charged, like I said, but the prosecutors and grand jury activity suggests an indictment could be forthcoming. And like I said, that's all based on witness testimony. And including his managers, this is not in my notes, but his manager is kind of sketchy as F2. And I don't know. He's like, I don't know why people care about this. I had nothing to do with it. And it's like, he was hanging out with a 13-year-old girl. Like, I'm sorry. Like, whatever. The cause and manner of death remain officially undetermined publicly, but I'm assuming since they're doing all this grand jury indictment that they know something we don't. So yeah, that's an update on that David case. That is something I'm definitely watching closely because, like I said, no one was helping that little girl. Like no one cared about her. Like I don't even think I don't know. I don't want to talk about her family because I'm sure they're grieving enough. But it's I don't know. Like my mom knew where I was at 13 years old, right? Like she would knew if I was hanging out with a celebrity. Like I don't know. But again, I don't want to judge that. I don't want to put thing on that. It makes me question what the heck was going on and how it was like no one said one dang thing. But yeah, other than that, that's the other cases I'm watching are the Nick Reiner case, the Reiner case, and then the Tepe case. I do think he officially said he was not guilty. He was in court recently, I believe, and said he is not guilty. So I don't know how they're going to play that out. If you're not familiar with that case, it's about a couple. One was a dentist, and then he had his wife, and the ex of the wife came and murdered them in the middle of the night, supposedly. I mean, everything is, the case at the trial hasn't even started, but that is what they are saying. And yeah, so horrible case. So I'll keep you updated on those three cases, like I mentioned before. Like I said, nothing supernatural really going on right now. The snowstorm and everything. It's just been annoying. So hopefully that'll clear up soon. I hope everyone's staying safe. I've definitely had my I know some people had some power outages and stuff like that, and I've definitely been through that. And wow, my whole basement was leaking too. So and lost all my stuff. So I definitely am thinking about those people because it sucks. Um, but I hope everyone is doing well considering the situation and staying safe. And yeah, I'm hoping it's clearing up. So other than that, stay curious and thank you for listening and stay curious and stay tuned and it's supernatural. Thanks for watching.